Hey there, what's up? This is Paul Murphy. So welcome to my video on how to promote your YouTube channel on Google for free in 2021 and going forward. Now, if you want to stand out on YouTube, you've got to create all these viral channels. It's a strategy I'm attempting at the moment, but it's not because I think I need to. It's more because I just fancy the challenge. In fact, it's not something I recommend people do when they're getting started, simply because it's a lot harder. You've got to post consistently. I've been a bit knackered this week because I've been coming on and doing videos every single day. You've got to kind of be thinking outside the box. And all for a little bit of AdSense revenue, which, to be honest, you have to make your channel blow up for that to actually pay for itself in a decent hourly rate, right? But if you go and place your products on the front page of Google and YouTube, like we've been doing, then you can actually generate a massive income. So I'm going to break down why that's important, how that's important, what results that's had for me, and what results that can have for you without you having to go and compete in the big red ocean. So if you like my videos, obviously hit the thumbs up please, because that will help the algorithm, and also leave a comment down below. If you do, you might be like this person here who actually won a prize for leaving a comment on yesterday's video, and just let me know what you've tried, what you haven't tried, got any questions, or just let me know that you're enjoying the content. That would be great, and then we'll do a prize draw tomorrow. If you leave a comment within the first 24 hours, I'll even answer your question. So the first thing to point out, before we go any further, so you can kind of understand how powerful this is that my channel, my personal brand channel, I've actually got 6 channels, 5 of which are not personal brands, so I don't put myself on camera. But the first thing to point out is that this channel here, as of recording this today, has only got 4,000 subscribers. Now I'm hoping to blow this up because I'm trying a completely different strategy, just for fun, really, just for the hell of it. But you do not need a big channel with lots of subscribers, because as you can see here, I've only spent just under $10,000 on ads in the last 10 years, right? Because the only ad account I've had is Facebook, and I actually had an ad account with Google for a little while, but it didn't work very well. I have spent a little bit of money on some YouTube ads. I'm starting to try that out as well at the moment, just sort of trying different things in marketing. But this, with this strategy alone, this is the only way I've run my business up till now. So I've only spent $8,000 on ads. You can actually see here, I actually had an ad account in 2009 that got banned because it got hacked. But this is it. This is my total entire ad spend on my whole account. Okay, and with this channel alone, this specific personal brand channel, I've managed to become the top 10 affiliates for some of the biggest leading brands in my industry without spending a penny on any ads. And also we've got this plugin called vidIQ, which you can put on your YouTube channel, and when we actually create a little bit of authority, which is what I'm going to explain how you can do that today as well, so you can do this without actually having to create those viral channels. When you create that authority with a handful of videos instead of like thousands of videos, you can actually go and rank for products at the top of Google and YouTube, like high ticket products. Most of these products make us over $100 per product. And on the days that I took these, it does fluctuate a bit, but on the days that I took these, with just a handful of videos, I was the top channel creator. And what that actually means in real terms is that when, Russell Brunson he's the creator of this product, right? So if he goes and puts up a video, and I put up a video on this day, this plugin is pulling the APIs from Google. So it's pulling the data from Google, and Google's saying, this is the person that needs to get the credit. This is the person we need to give the love to. This is the videos we need to show, right? So that's why this is really important. And it's really not that difficult to do. Once you actually know how to set this up and claim a bit of authority, it's really, really easy. I actually showed this one to Mike Phil Same, and he was laughing. He said, that I had only put up about 5 videos, and he was actually seeing my face every time he was logging in on the front page of Google. He found that really amusing, because I was above him on this day. So you can actually see as well, we obviously generate insane incomes by doing it this way, because the front page of Google is where everybody goes to search for everything first. Okay, #1 search engine on the planet, right? So we can actually generate an abundance of sales meeting people in a buying state. So you can actually see here, look, this is $14,000 that we generated in that month alone. Compounding, if it carries on compounding at exactly the same rate, it's actually going up. That's generating 169,526. The actual count that we've got on this right now is just over 92,000 this year alone. Okay, so we've got a potentially a 6-figure business from just one product with just a handful of videos. That's why this is way more important than going viral. This sort of money cannot be earned with AdSense unless you've got channels with millions of subscribers or hundreds of thousands of subscribers in most cases. So, you know, even though I'm attempting that because it's not something I know anything about, I'm kind of invested in courses, I'm giving that a go. That's not what I recommend, okay? It's driving me mad at the moment, but it's quite good fun. I love a challenge, so I'm doing it for that reason, but it's not something I recommend doing. I recommend just doing it the easy way to get started. And then like when you've generated some income, then maybe having a play. So, you know, just with my YouTube channel, we've managed to get 3,974 active members in my online course, which is the Affiliate Tube Success Academy. And we've also, you know, you can see this last 30 days we generated $217,000 in revenue. I know it's bonkers. Again, only spending $8,000 on ads. And we've got 930. This is actually taken today, so we've got 930 active affiliates at the moment. And we're actually paying out nearly $1.6 million a year to our affiliates. As you can see, this was a screenshot of the last payment we did. Okay, again, not spending any money on ads. So back in the day, I was kind of ranking these websites, and I would put them up before YouTube, before I knew anything about YouTube. I was putting up these websites. So this is I actually got this from the Wayback Machine, and we had this little global tracker, and it used to tell us where all the traffic was coming from. And I originally wanted to be a wedding planner when I first left my job. I thought that was a good idea. Don't know why. I know I can, like, if you want to put a sarcastic comment in the description, I'm cool with that. But yeah, this is what I wanted to do. And it's because I was working in insurance, I didn't really have any transferable skills. Anyway, I threw up some websites. I got them ranked on the front page of Google, which was relatively easy back then. This is kind of what Google used to look like, right? And then we had this tracker, and it was telling us where all the traffic was coming from. After I had a woman come in the office asking me some very, like, quite deep questions about how I was going to organise her daughter's wedding, matching drapes with napkins and things like that, which kind of like completely made me freeze and think, I'm actually going to ruin this woman's daughter's wedding, right? I don't want to do that. And she wanted to do it anyway. As a mum, she wanted to kind of do it. That's what they, you know, mums like to help their daughters with their wedding, right? But yeah, you know, I actually didn't have a clue. But I had a website and I had traffic and I didn't have anything to do. So I sort of fell into affiliate marketing because I would basically send this traffic to other websites and they'd pay me a commission. And the first day I got a commission, I was like staring at it because I hadn't done anything, right? I hadn't worked time for money. I just got this money. So that's why I love affiliate marketing. It's a really good place to get started because you don't actually have to have anything yourself. You can just recommend other people's products and they'll pay you a commission. And it's still one of the biggest earning generators to this day since I started. It's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love affiliate marketing because you don't need to have anything. And with the power of what we've got with YouTube and Google combined, it's like superpower. So yeah, I was sending this traffic off, and you know, I literally, like I say, I logged into PayPal one day. I think someone had bought an entire wedding package somewhere in America. I'd got $350 sitting in my PayPal account. And I was hooked. I was all in. And then I started putting up these different websites. So I was putting up a website and then duplicating it in another industry, ranking it on the front page of Google, and then I would go and sell it. And I would basically, it would cost me about $200 to hire somebody to duplicate it and, you know, get all the content and actually put it up, and then we would sell these things. And once we'd rank them, because all this traffic was coming in, sometimes we'd add in some print advertising as well. We'd go and get a deal with a local print manufacturer or a specific print manager, should I say, like for that industry. And then we would sell it as an ongoing concern. We've got an ongoing website here that's going to bring you business. We've got you a deal with some print advertising, and we were putting these up for like £15,000 at the time. As a going concern, and somebody with a business with all this traffic coming in, that was a no-brainer. They could make, you know, we estimated a lot of businesses could make $85,000 to $100,000 in a year from the traffic alone. So, you know, obviously 15,000 was a bargain to them, and to us it was so simple. Like, we would literally make these things for £200, put them up on this website in the UK. It was a bit similar to Flipper. It wasn't called Flipper, but I think it was called Businesses for Sale. And we would say 15,000, potential 85. And then when they come on the phone, we would say, look, you know, how many clients do you need to get to 100,000? And we'd work it out and we'd say, well, we're selling all of this for 15,000. You've got traffic coming in from everywhere you can think of. and they would eat them up, right? And I remember being up at the Ideal Home exhibition with my fiance at the time, and I was with my mum as well and some members of my family, and we're like looking around at funky showers. And I had a chap in the office up the road from me called Lee, and he was working with me, and he was on the phone kind of selling these things, and he kept phoning me up, and he was like, Paul, we've sold one. Like, I think this is just like a few weeks after we just started selling them, right? So he said, Paul, we sold one. So I was like, cool. So I put the phone down. I was walking around having another look at another funky shower, or one of those like all-in-one jacuzzi things that you can get. And then I get another call, and it's like, Paul, we've sold another one. I was like, whoa, this is incredible. Bearing in mind, like, our costs were so minimal. And then he'd phone me up. And that day, I think, was the biggest day we ever had in that sort of period of my working life. And we made over 100,000, I think it was $100,000 I worked it out to be. It's about £80,000 in profit in one day, literally. And we didn't, and this website was free to advertise on, so we didn't even spend a penny on advertising then. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, right? So we were doing really well, and we put all these websites up, and every time we put one of these websites up, they would rank, and then we would go and sell them, and then because it was quite easy to sort of work Google at the time to rank, everyone started sort of gaming the system, right? So I wasn't the only one ranking websites. When people started to understand the power of this, everybody was doing it, right? So loads of people were putting up websites, but to actually sort of outrank each other, people were having to game the system a bit more. They were having to kind of come up with all these different kind of link wheel strategies. There was a PBN strategy going on. There was all these different ways that you could kind of convince Google that you had the authority, right? Because it's all about authority. That's everything. Everything on Google is about authority, right? Back in the day, that authority was gauged by backlinks, okay? And if those backlinks had authority, i.e. those websites all had loads of links, powerful links pointing to them, Google would gain you authority. It works exactly the same with YouTube. If you've got authority, then Google's going to reward you with the listings, okay? But back then, there was all these, people started to realise that this was kind of crazy. So Google started to fight back, because Google at one point, I can remember in around 2009, you could go onto Google, and Google would actually be showing you websites that weren't relevant, right? And Google's number one priority is to stay the number one search engine, which means it's got to be giving people what they're looking for. Because people will start, I can remember having conversations with friends and stuff, and they were like, I'm going to Bing, I'm going to Yahoo, this is rubbish. You just can't find anything you're looking for. So Google's, number one objective is to stay the number one search engine. So it started fighting back with penalty slaps. People got really angry, but I agree. I think, I agree with Google on this. I think, that was ridiculous. But, some of us innocent bystanders got in the way of that as well. And we started, my network started going down the search engines. Okay, so we had to then start playing the game, right? So we had to put up these PBNs, these link wheels and things. And then Google got smart again, and then they would come out with another penalty slap. And then, so they had a panda, a penguin, and a hummingbird. And they kept bringing these different ones out, and they did different things. And I can remember going in one day in my office. Lee phoned me up and he said, "You've got to come in the office." I said, "Why?" He said, "I've got all your clients on the phone to me. They're all going bonkers." I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "Just get down here." I was like, so I sort of went into the office, and then I realised what had happened is basically Google had decided enough's enough, and they'd delisted my entire network, and that included all of my clients' sites. The whole thing was gone, and there was nothing I could do. And my clients obviously had bought these websites off me. Some of them tried to sue me, right? And what had happened is that I wasn't quite sure of what was going on, but what had happened is that somehow Google knew from some footprints that were kind of linking all these sites together. Sometimes we were using similar servers, sometimes we were using different, but they basically had tied it all together, and they'd basically taken away. This was the worst day of my entire life in my business. And I'd made a lot of money then, but from then until 2017, in fact, from then till 2013, my money that I'd sort of managed to save and invest started to go down. I started to sell off some of my investments. I started to go down. And then from 2013 to 2017, I was actually flat broke 4 years. 14, 15, 16, 17, yeah, 13 to 17. I couldn't remember if it was 12 or 13. I think it's 2013 to 2017. I was flat broke. And I was, and I literally couldn't, like, my friends would phone me up to go out for a drink. I just tell them I was busy. I was, because I was trying to work hard to see what I could do. I was applying for jobs, all these different things, but I just had nothing. I had no idea what to do. I was trying all these different strategies that were coming out. You know, I remember discovering WordPress and thinking, oh my God, this is amazing, but I couldn't get anything to stick. I couldn't get anything to work. So that is why I want to show you this today. And this is why I want to give you this backstory, because what actually happened was, I remember coming in, you know, turning on the computer. Sorry, I was working from home at the time because I couldn't even afford an office. But I remember turning on the computer and I started seeing these videos in the carousel. Now, at the time, you would get them horizontally like that, right? And what that meant was is that you were getting free extra listings on top of the 10 organic listings you get on the front page of Google. And straight away, I was like, whoa, this could be the way to save my business, because like these are Google had sorted out all the problems and was now the #1 search engine again, with no problems. Nobody was complaining. Everyone was loving Google. And Google's starting to kind of do all this funky stuff where they're starting to put different things on the front page of Google. And one of them was videos. Okay, so I got on the phone. You know, these are actually some of my listings, right? So these were actually, this was after, but you know, I didn't take screenshots at the time because it was just kind of coming up a bit random. You wouldn't quite see, you know, they wouldn't quite make sense to what you were searching, but Google was trying to push them over, right? So I phoned up, and you know, to me that was like a no-brainer, because I knew that if you got to the top of Google, which was impossible, right? Then it, you know, and all of the people I knew who'd done SEO back in the day with websites had all given up. They'd all gone over to Facebook, right? So, you know, so I phoned up my ad manager at the time and I said, look, I said, can I get some of these? Can you pay for them? What's the deal? And he said, no, they're YouTube videos. He said, and they're free. I was like, okay, cool. I said, so how do I get there? He said, well, if you give Google what it wants, you know, it's looking for the authority like it normally does. So if you give it what it wants, it's going to rank them at the top of Google. And as long as they're relevant, they'll stay there. Okay. And I said, how long for? He said, forever. He said, you know, there's no, like, he said, if somebody else comes out with a more relevant video, then yours goes. He said, but as long as it's relevant, it stay there. And I was like, this sounds a bit too good to be true, right? And I sort of stopped for a second. I was like, did he actually really just say to me, I can get evergreen ads at the top of Google and keep them there for years to come? And I was like, this sounds a bit weird, right? Because I've been doing all this stuff and had all my stuff delisted. So the first thing I thought was, okay, well, this is obviously impossible, right? Even though I've got to give Google what it wants, no one's going to know how to do this. So I remember phoning up all the gurus, like you name a guru, right? And I got on the phone to them. I was trying to sort of get in touch with them. Anyway, I was phoning up these different gurus, and the weirdest thing happened, right? Like the first thing was that they didn't actually know how to do it. Some of them said that they'd seen some of their listings. They said they'd got some of these listings, wasn't sure how it was done. So like this is, you know, this is kind of like, to me, like, obviously giving you that backstory was important because then you can understand, like, this to me was a no-brainer. But I phoned up everyone that I knew and they were like, yeah, don't care, giving up, like, been so burnt by doing SEO in the past. And yet my ad manager was telling me that this is what Google wants to do in the future. People want to consume video. People want to go to videos. They don't want to go to ads. They don't want to go to websites anymore. They want to go to videos. And when I spoke to these guys, one, they didn't know, but the weirdest thing was that two, they didn't care. They'd all transferred over to Facebook. And I was like, but you do understand, right, that Google's still the #1 search engine on the planet. It's the first place everybody goes to look for anything, for a problem, a solution, a product, anything. And they were like, yeah, no, we're doing Facebook now. And I was like, oh, all right, okay, so it's got to be me then, right? So I was kind of like a little bit dumbfounded, but then I thought, okay, well, cool. You know, surely I'll be able to figure this out. And it wasn't that easy to start with. I was trying all these different things. That's why I have 6 different channels. And, you know, I was trying lots of different things. I was making a few mistakes here and there. And some of them would stick, some of them wouldn't. And it took me about a year to really start getting momentum and for me to be able to do this consistently. And all we did is we focused mainly on gaining authority. So if you get some authority on your videos, okay, you can basically get these on the front page of Google. And a little tip here is that if you notice that when products and services promote, right, what they'll do is they'll go and create about 5 videos, right, and what they'll do, they won't be massively on YouTube, they'll be basically working out how to promote, but quite often they'll do a couple of YouTube videos because they'll want to basically show you how to log in or how to go and access this or this part of the software or this part of the thing. So we just started doing that. We started doing demos. We started, basically replicating what that is, because Google isn't a person, right? It's an algorithm. It's looking for what is it that they need for authority. And if you convince them that you're the authority, they'll rank you above vendors, right? So that's what we started to do, and we started to figure it out, and then we started to understand all the metadata and how you can tie that all in. And once we cracked it, we were able to do it consistently. That's how we sort of developed the 24-hour ranking system, which means that we can place products. Once we get that authority with the first few videos, then we can go for like the kill. And we can basically rank for products, services, problems, anything you can think of, and just get them straight to the top of Google. It's like insane how amazing it works. And again, hardly anyone's focusing on this. So I wanted to show you this as well. So when we started to develop this, we noticed that they started to, instead of putting them in the carousel that way, they started to put them like that, right, vertical. But what we have noticed as well is in a lot of cases, this is actually just one page, right? So I couldn't quite fit it on without it looking too small. So I took 2 screenshots. But for this search on this day, you'll actually notice there was just one organic listing. Now this is weird, right? Because back in the day, you always had 10 organic listings. In fact, up until very, very recently, I've never seen anything other than 10 listings. But now quite often you'll see 4, 5, 6, 7 videos, and we're seeing in a lot of cases 2 videos takes away 1 organic listing. But Google have already said like this is the way it's going to go because people want video. We're all consuming video more than anything else, and Google wants to be the #1 search engine. So if people want video, it's going to oblige, and also it's going to get people over to its younger brother YouTube, where it can serve them more ads. Massive win-win for Google, but it just so happens that it is exactly what we all want, right? So yeah, and this is what we're seeing. We're seeing it like this now. Now we lose a little bit of real estate on these listings, but we haven't lost any clicks at all. In fact, because we can now rank, quite often we'll get 3 or 4 listings, so we'll get extra listings without them having to sort of scroll along or press the show more. And it, working really, really well. Like this is absolutely crushing it. And this is what I'm using to generate the sales, and we don't need a lot of views. So whereas you get a viral channel that goes a viral channel that you need hundreds of thousands of views to earn anywhere near the sort of money we earn, we can often put a product at the top of Google and it will get 1,000 views. Other YouTubers will look at that and they'll say, well, that's not doing any good, that's pointless, so they don't pay any attention to it. But it's not 1,000 views because it's in front of red hot buyers when they go into the front page of Google. So they'll put in a search term, and then for Kartra trial, okay, one of the products I promote, I come up #1. They go to the video. Quite often they don't even watch the video, but it doesn't matter. Okay, when you try and make your channel go viral, you need to have 50% watch time. It doesn't matter. Okay, you don't need any subscribers, you don't need any likes or comments for it to stay ranked at the front page of Google. It just needs to be relevant, and the way that it's relevant is that people are going to that video and they're clicking it. That's it. Okay, and so I'm just wanted to show you some proof so you can kind of see. This is another screenshot of one of our products. Again, this is all from free ads. So as you can see, that is the power of getting YouTube on the front page of Google. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you 10 free ways you can make money on YouTube. So if you go and use any of these free ways, place your listings on the front page of Google, this video is going to point you in the right direction. There's loads of ways to do it without spending any money. And this is my playlist, so you can obviously check out all my latest content. Make sure you keep up to date. So give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and you'll be notified. I'm dropping a lot of content at the moment. And don't forget to leave a comment down below, and you could be in with a shout with winning a prize on the next video. So I'll see you soon.